kicking off our final terminal tour, and this takes us on 2 short tours. One is in Arizona called the Arizona Tour, and the other one is going to be the Rocky Mountain High. So in Arizona, we'll be visiting our Buckeye terminal, which is on the west side of Phoenix, and then we're going to drive to Thatcher, Arizona. Thatcher is north of El Paso, Texas, so a bit of driving in front of us. That's going to be up in the mountains. And then we'll be flying tonight up to Salt Lake City, and tomorrow we're going to be visiting our Salt Lake terminal, and then driving out to our final stop, which will be Carlin, Nevada, which also supports the mining industry. So looking forward to the final stops on the road with Randy Tours. We just completed our first stop on our Arizona tour. And when we were thinking of naming the tours, and the way we spelled out Arizona reminded me of a song when I was a kid by Mark Lindsay called Arizona. And I always loved that song, and we were naming the tours. That's the first thing that came to mind. And many of you that are old enough to remember that song can probably sing along, but I won't be doing that. So we just finished our first stop, and it was in Buckeye, Arizona. And I got to spend some time with Jeff. Jeff's our terminal manager in Buckeye. He's been with us for several years, about 3.5 years. He came on when we bought this business with our former affiliate, Richard Wallace. We bought a trucking company in the West Coast that included this operation. It's a nice transload operation, so got to spend some time with Jeff. We toured the whole facility. Got to meet in the office. We have Misty. She's pretty much the dispatcher. Been with us 20 years. Started as basically a clerical job, and 20 years later she's managing the drivers. So we've got 11 drivers here. Also got to meet Don. Don's been with us about 18 years, was a transloader for a number of years. Now he's a transload manager. Got to meet a couple of our transloaders that were here today, both Evan and Clinton. Both relatively short term. I think Clinton said he's been here maybe 4 or 5 months, Evan maybe a year. Got to see the operation out there, and then spent some time with Jake. Jake's in our shop. We have a 2-bay shop here. It was interesting. Jake's worked with us at a couple of places. He started with us back, I think he said 2013 in our East St. Louis operation, and then a few years back he went over to Memphis, and then came back to the company. Wanted to move out west after growing up in St. Louis, and the opportunity presented itself in Buckeye, so he's been here now about 2 years, and he's kind of a one-man show here. Does a little bit of everything. It's a great operation, and it's nice catching up with him. And then with Jeff, we walked the yard, got to see all the transloading we do. We do a lot of fire retardants here for the fire season. Generally April to I think maybe September time frame. We have 140,000 gallons worth of fire retardant stored here. We have a lot of rail car customers here for various products, from water treatment to products that go into the various semiconductor plants out here. And so it was a great first stop on our Arizona tour in Buckeye, Arizona. And our next stop will be over in Thatcher, Arizona. We just finished our second stop on our Arizona tour, and this took us to Thatcher, Arizona. It's about 3.5 hours basically east of Phoenix, and this operation it came into the QC family in 2020 when our former affiliate Richard Wallace bought a trucking company that had a terminal here, and then when Richard retired and we bought his operation in 2022, we took it over. And this operation really exists. In fact, this part of Arizona is really everything to do with copper and copper mining. There's a few copper companies here, one of the largest in the world, and we've been servicing them for quite a long time with our predecessors. And we run about 32, 33 drivers here, mainly moving sulfuric acid that's used in the process for separating copper from the ore and such, with the smelter and all that. And we deliver to multiple mines in the area with our major customer. We have a satellite operation down in El Paso, Texas, a good 250 miles from here. And but collectively, it's a big operation for us, but it is really dependent on the copper industry. So Todd Dunham, been in this business quite a long time, worked with the predecessor company. He's done a phenomenal job for us. When we bought the company in 2020, they were in the next town over called Safford. The challenge was our shop there was pretty old, maybe built in the 1940s, really a bit dilapidated. So being that he's, knows the area well, he heard of this operation coming available. It was a former Caterpillar dealership. Was able to jump on it, and we moved here in 2022. And it's really given us the right kind of a space, high quality location, great shop, lots and lots of truck parking. We'll be expanding it with a driver room, which is sorely needed. But it's a really nice operation. It's really the kind of the standard we want to have. So Todd his fingerprint is all over this. You can tell he puts a lot into this. He cares for the people in the operation. And we got to meet the team in the office, Sandy and Donica, both Donica on the dispatch side, Sandy on the terminal support side. Trucking was, somewhat new to them when they came into the business, and done a great job for us. And then we got to meet some of the shop personnel. We had Mike, who's the shop lead, along with Cody and Alex. Got to see the nice 2-bay shop that we have there. Very clean, well organized, lots of space. Wayne is our MSHA, so Mine Safety and Health Organization, or just like OSHA, but for mines. And he's kind of our coordinator there, keeps us compliant, makes sure we're doing everything right to protect our drivers and to be aware of all the risks when you're dealing with mining operations. So really an excellent visit. Got treated to a nice lunch, and really appreciate the hospitality of Todd and everybody on the team here. So it was a great visit, and our second stop on the Arizona tour, and next we'll be doing the Rocky Mountain tour up in Utah and Nevada. So as we complete the On the Road with Randy final tour. Well, as we continue our western trip, and we started our second leg of it, which is the Rocky Mountain High tour. We came into Salt Lake City last night and visited our terminal in Salt Lake City this morning. Spent some time with Preston. It was good catching up with him. Preston has run the terminal for us for a number of years. Was one of our affiliate operations that we converted about 2.5 years ago. Preston's been with us for the better part of 10 years or so. Does a great job. And we got to meet the terminal staff. So it's a small team here. Stephanie is kind of the terminal assistant for us. She's been with us about a year or so. Has worked in trucking for a bit of different kind of companies, 3PLs, LTL. But she got to meet her, and then also spend time with Nate. Nate came over to us when we bought a private fleet about a year or so ago that has a large operation in Henderson, Nevada. So he's domiciled there, but he happened to be up here for the day. And so we got to meet him, and he helps us run the drivers that are based out of Henderson. Between the two locations, we have about 25 or so drivers, maybe half of them up here in Salt Lake, half in Henderson. And then got to spend some time in the shop. The gentleman that runs our shop, his real name is Greg, but he goes by Goose. And he's kind of a jack of all trades for us. We have 3 bays there. We're looking at expanding it and becoming one of our QRS locations. We'll need more mechanics for us, but nice, clean, organized shop. And he does just about anything needed there. So he's been with us, I think he said about 9 years. And then we also met one of our drivers, and our driver on his uniform, it says Scott, but he goes by Slayer. Used to play a little bit of rock and roll, heavy metal type music. But he's been a driver for us about 13 years, been driving, I think he said over 30. Interesting story with him is he works for us about 9-10 months a year. But he actually lives in Thailand the rest of the time. His wife is over in Thailand. He typically goes there around the beginning of December, spends 2, 3, 4 months, and then comes back and works again. And kind of an unusual story, but really nice getting to meet him and hear some of his stories on the road. Drives just about everywhere for us. So it was really a nice visit. Great operation here. And the drivers here tend to run a lot of long haul freight throughout all the western states, but also back east as well. And great operation. It was just nice catching up with Preston and the team, and great stop in Salt Lake City. And on to our final stop, which will be coming up, which is Carlin, Nevada. We just finished our final stop, not just on this tour that took us out west as part of our Arizona and Rocky Mountain tour, but actually the last stop on the road with Randy. So a bit bittersweet, but it was nice to finally get to Carlin, Nevada. Carlin's an operation that came to us just about 8 years ago when we bought a private fleet from one of our major customers. And this is a unique operation. It's been here a long time. And what we move here is products that go into the mining operation, specifically the gold and silver mines. And we move cyanide and cyanide derivative products that are used to help separate the precious metals from the ore. So we spent a lot of time with Donna Morgan. She runs this operation along with Rory, and Donna been there 23 years, Rory 24, and really it's an excellent operation. Every year we have to go through a cyanide audit because of the danger of the product. We always pass with flying colors. They always use us as a standard for the industry, and it's really because of Donna and Rory and the team here. So fantastic work. It was great then getting a great tour of the operation with Rory and Donna, be able to show us the unique equipment we have here that helps us get the product to the gold and silver mines. And we have a small maintenance shop here. We're going to look at expanding it. I got to meet with Paul, who's one of our mechanics here, been with us just a short period of time. And then Pete, one of the drivers, he was there for a short period as well. And then Ramona is fairly new on the office side. She helps in the terminal, running the terminal. So really a great visit. And it's hard to believe that we've been to over 90 sites now in the last several months. And this was the final stop. So this concludes the On the Road with Randy tours for 2024. We may do something again like this, maybe a different variety in the future, but it has been an incredible experience. So look for a future recap as well.